Hello everyone, welcome to the Wednesday Grind. I am so excited to be with you guys today. If you've ever wondered how some Etsy sellers make six figures a year or even a month, while others struggle to get a single sale, today's episode is going to be an absolute game changer. I'm going beyond just showing you a best-selling listing. I'm breaking down the why behind its success, the strategies that the seller is using that most Etsy sellers overlook, and how you can tap into these goldmine niches and aesthetics too, by identifying market gaps. So later in the video, I'll be sharing some untapped opportunities that no one is talking about yet. So stick around until the end so you don't miss those. Let's dive into the grind. So I discovered this listing whenever I was doing my trend research for Mother's Day. And it's a listing that I mentioned in both of these videos, where I did deep dives into trending niches and trends for Mother's Day. Highly recommend you guys give these a watch because there's just a ton of value in these, and it's going to give you a ton of inspiration for Mother's Day. Also, just a heads up that I put together a free Mother's Day trend report for you guys. Just comment trend report below and I'll share a link to that, or once again, you can grab that in the description. If you guys are tuning in live, comment with the detective emoji or the spying glass because today's video is more about studying successful strategies from a successful shop, because success always leaves clues. Also, feel free to share where you're tuning in from. I always enjoy hearing where you guys are from. All right, today's agenda. First off, we're going to start off by really studying those successful strategies from this top selling listing and this top shop. Then we'll discuss some of those untapped opportunities I told you guys about earlier. We're going to hop onto Etsy to do a bit of research to see if we can find some market gaps. Then we're going to take a look at the Printful and the Printify print-on-demand catalog. Then we'll review some of the top products that I think will be easiest to break out in this product niche with. Okay, so I'm not going to show you guys the actual listing and the actual shop to help protect this seller's IP. However, I do want to give you guys a really good idea of the product's niche and aesthetic. So this 100K a month product is in the mom niche. It is a personalized mom sweatshirt along the lines of these types of products, and it is utilizing the monochromatic trending aesthetic. So we talked about these quite a bit in my last two videos and in the last episode of the Wednesday Grind. And it's basically like green on green, gray on gray, white on white, black on black, pink on pink, for example. And it's just super, super popular on Etsy right now. And a lot of them either have the university font or the script font, and it features that custom personalized sleeve print, okay, or sleeve embroidery, which is really popular in Etsy, and it's going to be just on fire for Mother's Day. And by the way, like I mentioned in my last two videos, the monochromatic aesthetic is super trendy, and it's not just on sweatshirts, it's also on t-shirts and in a variety of niches, as well as in home goods and housewares. So for example, we have a custom embroidered pillow here, a toile or chinoiserie themed mug, which by the way, that's kind of why I think, one of the reasons why I think that the chinoiserie trend and the toile trend are really taking off. So this is another example of that. And so is this. Because it features that monochromatic style, okay? So where it's just a single color or a variance of the same color, in this case blue, in this case green, in this case pink. So it tends to be featured mostly with blues, but you know, as you can see here, it can be used with any color. But I do suspect that's one of the reasons why this trend is so popular, that toile and chinoiserie trend, is because it does feature that monochromatic style that is so popular on Etsy. All right, so let's cover why this listing is crushing it on Etsy, okay? This is our 100K a month case study. And I did a little bit more research on this Etsy shop and discovered that they're closing in on $5 million in revenue. They've been open about 5 years, so they're basically averaging about $1 million a year on Etsy. So clearly this listing for this shop is not a one-hit wonder, okay? They didn't just get like a random bestseller. They have multiple bestsellers in their shops that are successful just like this listing. So clearly they have really cracked the code on Etsy and are using a reproducible formula for success. That's why if you want to win on Etsy, it's so important to take the time out to do competitor analysis and study what's actually working for successful sellers. Decode those strategies, and when possible, apply it to our own businesses in smart, intentional ways. All right, so let's dive into their secret formula here, okay? So some of those factors contributing to their success. So just a few facts about the shop. They have less than 200 listings, yet they have over 260,000 sales, which is just an amazing reminder that it really is quality over quantity. This shop focuses on high demand, personalized items Every single item that they sell in their shop is personalized. And this is really important because personalization really is a key factor of what sets Etsy apart from other platforms like Temu and Amazon, where their focus is more on mass-produced items. Their items really are geared towards gift giving, and there's a higher perceived value because it is such a custom, personalized product. And if personalization really kind of intimidates you as a seller, especially if you sell print on demand, I did want to mention Hello Custom. It is an amazing software. I don't recommend purchasing it if you are a brand new seller or if you're just getting started with personalization. It's something that I wouldn't recommend purchasing or looking into until you're getting consistent sales. You're starting to feel overwhelmed. This is something that I wish I'd had as a new seller because my first couple of Christmases on Etsy, I actually had listings that I turned off early, like for example, holiday listings that I turned off early where I could have made a lot more money, but I was just getting so overwhelmed with personalized orders, I just didn't want to do them anymore. So if you're getting to the point where you are overwhelmed with personalized orders, that's when I would start investigating automation softwares like this. Now, Printify did just recently release the personalized option on their software. However, it is still limited, and I don't believe that you can upload custom fonts yet and custom graphics the way that you can with Hello Custom. So if you're using custom fonts, custom graphics for your personalized products, might be something to look into. And speaking of softwares and subscriptions for your business and things like that, I did want to mention this video that I created last spring where I deep dove into this article that I had discovered about this super successful seller that had made $500,000 selling print-on-demand candles. And one of the things that stuck out to me in this article that I go over in the video is that he didn't use any paid softwares aside from his design softwares that he used. So just a reminder that you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on softwares and subscriptions if you don't really want to, because clearly there are sellers who don't use any of those things and are still successful. However, once again, if something like personalization and the time factor is hurting your sales, that's when I would start investigating softwares that are going to help automate your business for you. And by the way, if you want the link to this video, I will throw it in the description or just comment candles. All right, so continuing on with our 100K listing case study here and what's driving their success. So this shop has a very limited catalog. Okay, so they only sell 4 different items. So they're not trying to create a ton of different products. They're very specialized on 4 different products, okay? So one of the reasons why I caution sellers from having tons of different products is that it really can thin you out, and it can be really distracting. And oftentimes what I see new sellers do, or unsuccessful sellers, is that they sort of test different products and they never get good at designing any one of them. So for example, maybe they start out with t-shirts and then they see a YouTube video go viral that has a phone case tutorial in it. And so now they're selling phone cases, and then the next month they're on to tote bags, and they never really specialize in any products. So I would really caution against that. It's, yes, go for it, test products. It's not a bad strategy at all, but I would just caution you from doing it a ton and really just taking the time to master a few products well. Because I really see this over and over again with successful shops on Etsy, where sometimes they only sell 1 product, okay? Or maybe they sell 3 or 4, but they don't sell a ton of products. And they only sell in 5 high demand niches. And on the next slide, I'll go over that. So these niches are evergreen niches. That sell year round. And they include bridal, baby, mom, dad, and home buyers. With one exception, Christmas. They also sell Christmas ornaments. And that's the only time that they sell Christmas, okay? So they're not cross-niching, Christmas and bridal, or Christmas and baby, or mom. It's just for Christmas, and it's personalized Christmas ornaments, okay? The bulk of their sales come from bridal and mom. And once again, this is a really smart strategy because it's evergreen. That means they're getting year-round sales on these products. And also, it helps provide really clear audiences for their products. Whenever I look at one of their listings, I know exactly who that listing is for. It has a clear audience. So they are very focused on their audiences. Also, just a heads up, if you guys are hearing a bunch of noise or banging in the background, basically my sewer line is getting torn up. There was a blockage on our road, and there's a huge crater in my road that's like the size of, 4 cars. It's insane. So apologies for the loud noises in the background. The grind must go on. All right, so now let's analyze where they're getting their traffic from. Okay, because this is also a really important piece of these types of puzzles. So I did some research and I didn't really discover I really discovered very little to no social media presence. However, they do have an email list, okay, which they promote in their shop announcement and likely with their follow-up with their customers. And this is really an important piece. A lot of the top shops on Etsy do take the time out to build their audience, to build an email list so that they have some control over their traffic and over their audiences, which is just a really smart strategy as a seller. So likely whenever they have a new product that they launch, they can send targeted emails to their audiences. And because their products are so niche, because they're personalized and they have those just basic four niches, many of which kind of tie together. So think bridal, then mom, then baby, okay? And mom and dad. Those all kind of tie together to some extent during different phases of someone's life. Okay. So especially if they get that buyer at the bridal, in the bridal niche, they've been on Etsy for 5 years now. They get that buyer and they're able to get their email address. They're able to market to them later on when they have a baby, when they become a mom, when they're searching for Father's Day products for their husband. Okay. And they're using that to build a strong brand. We do have to keep in mind the factors that we really can't see. Their ad spend, any offsite traffic sources, and how many of their sales are from Etsy offsite ads. If you are interested in building an automated email list for your Etsy shop, definitely check out this video. Just comment email below, or I'll make sure to link this below, where I go through how I create an automated email list for my customers on Etsy while adhering to Etsy's handbook standards. Now let's discuss the shop's sales and shipping strategies. They are running sales that are up to 40% off, and they're typically 24-hour sales. So this is really important. This is something I discovered my first Christmas on Etsy, the power of having 24-hour sale, because it really does help create urgency with the buyer, because they want to make sure that they aren't going to miss that sale. And this particular seller does offer free shipping. I don't think that's mandatory. I've seen plenty of sellers and listings do well without free shipping, but this is just the strategy that this particular seller used. All right, now let's dive into their SEO strategy, which also is a really important piece of this puzzle. So the title to the 100K listing is written in 3 or 4 word phrases that are natural sounding phrases that people would actually type into this Etsy search query when they're searching for these niche products. The phrases were separated by commas, and they did 0 random keyword stuffing. So they didn't have like mom, dad, baby, things like that. They were all really natural sounding phrases. And now there's tornado sirens going off. Like, what is going on here? Hopefully it's just a test, right? It's a Wednesday that it's a test. Is it like, okay, no, it's the second Wednesday. I thought it was like the first or the last Wednesday. Well, it's not storming outside. It's cloudy, so hopefully I'm good. So let's keep diving into the grind here, guys. Okay, as far as sort of the formula that they used for their listing, they had very niche specific long tail keywords at the beginning of their listing, okay? So the ones that are really specific to this listing that are probably lower competition, and then at the end they had their broader niche keywords. So for example, new mom gift, Mother's Day gift, which also clearly provided an audience for that listing. So I knew immediately who this listing was for. So now let's talk about their tags optimization. In their tags, they used 2 to 3 words that were relevant phrases. So once again, they were using phrases, common phrases people would type into Etsy when they're searching. They targeted very specific gift occasions, and they did use trend-based descriptors like minimalist and cool mom. And comment SEO below if you guys would ever like an SEO deep dive. Now let's dive into their listing description. They did create a custom, short but SEO rich description of the item, along with important product information, processing and shipping information, and care instructions. In the description, they also included in the description their return and exchange policy. Because these are personalized products, they did not accept returns, as well as their signature brand phrase. And another important thing to note is that they did have a video, okay? And it wasn't just like a generic video where they just had a slideshow of the different mockups. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think that just having a video in general can help improve your listing quality score and your overall ranking. But videos that really showcase the product, they did a close-up of the product so that you could see the texture of the product. Those types of videos probably really help conversions more than just like generic videos. Just something to consider for your own shop. Okay, so now let's dive into their thumbnail or mock-up strategy, because this is obviously super, super important piece, maybe one of the most important pieces of this. They use proven best-selling mock-ups. In the shop, the first mock-up is a flat lay, while the other thumbnails, the other mock-ups, are model mock-ups. So this is a really good strategy to use in your own listings. So basically, if I have a listing where the main listing thumbnail is a flat lay, then I will use model lifestyle mock-ups in the listing. So this is for apparel, obviously. And I also do it vice versa. So if I have a model mock-up, a model lifestyle mock-up for the first mock-up, then for the rest of the mock-ups, I might consider using flat lays. So it's just really important for whatever product you sell on Etsy, showing the product in a variety of ways, and preferably it being a lifestyle mock-up so people can better envision that product in their own life. Also, they reuse the same proven mockups. They used them for the main listing mockups as well as for the mockups inside of their listing. So they didn't use a ton of different mockups. They kept using the same proven ones. They also did have a branded size guide. So their size guide, they likely did purchase from another Etsy digital seller, but they did take the time to brand it with their branding. I did a deep dive about mockups with Cassie Johnson on the Wednesday Grind several weeks ago. Guys, there were so many hot tips and hacks in this video that could really help improve your listings. So definitely give that a watch or comment mockups below, or you can grab the link to this video in the description. So continuing with their mockup strategy, they use folded, simple, flat lay mockups, which are very popular in Etsy. I did want to mention the design on this 100K product is minimalist, okay? And a lot of those folded flat lay mockups, especially the sweatshirt mockups, are minimalist too, okay? So it's pretty much just the folded mockup. There might be one or two objects in there, but it's a very simple mockup, not a lot of clutter, which really helps that design to stand out and sort of just ties in with the design theme, okay? So you've got a minimalist design with a minimalist mockup. So I think that really helps these types of listings. Whereas if you have a design that's more organic, maybe there's a lot going on, there's flowers, things like that, I would typically have that type of design on a model mockup. So once again, if you have a minimalist design, I would recommend putting those on a flat lay. So once again, if you have a minimalist, especially like minimalist text-based designs are kind of smaller, I would recommend putting those on those folded flat lays. This seller also had one thumbnail dedicated to clarifying product information so that there was no confusion. They used several 6+ thumbnails. And this is also really important. Even though this listing features a crew neck sweatshirt, which comes in, all types of different colors, they limited their listings, and this was true for all of their apparel listings, they limited it to 5 colors. Okay, so they probably tested different colors that were popular in the shop for their shop, and they just stuck with 5 colors. I think that limiting the amount of colors in your listings really can be helpful and helps prevent decision paralysis for your customers, making it more likely that they're going to make a choice and check out. And I also have some insights regarding their reviews, their customer reviews, okay? This is insane. They have an 18.5% review ratio, which is huge because there's only a 1 to 5% industry standard. So this is just a super high review ratio. Now, part of that is partially due to its personalization factor because this is a custom personalized sweatshirt for moms, and custom items tend to have a higher review rate. However, even with that in consideration, that's still super high. So my guess is that they have excellent customer service, which was definitely mentioned in some of their reviews, and fast shipping, also mentioned in their reviews, and also plays a factor in the shop success because they can ship items in 1 to 3 days. People are definitely willing to pay for faster shipping. However, back to that customer service piece, my guess is that they are very proactive. So as soon as they get a sale from a customer, they may have this automated with something like Everbee. They likely send their customer a message right away, right after the order, and then they're sending up follow-up messages where maybe they're requesting feedback for that item. So that's my guess, is that they are just being really proactive and providing excellent customer service and requesting feedback. So definitely something to keep in mind for your own shop, because the more reviews that you get on an item, the more it is pushed by Etsy. All right, guys, now for the fun part, those untapped products and niches. I do think that there's a lot of room to add new value to the mommy and me or the mama and mini niche, especially utilizing the minimalist and monochromatic trending aesthetics. Now, I would recommend niching down a little bit and maybe even adding in some really simple coquettish types of elements, trying different colors like pink on pink, as well as niching down. So maybe the sweatshirt would say something like coffee mama and milk mini, just as an example. Always be looking for new ways to add value to the market. And next we'll be going on to Etsy to see if there are any other market gaps. Another really hot one for Mother's Day and definitely for Father's Day, and this is true for the Etsy platform as well as bigger platforms like Amazon. I am not seeing very many people utilizing this trending aesthetic of monochromatic, okay? So the black on black, the pink on pink, the denim on denim. I'm not seeing a lot of people do that yet with baseball caps. I think this is a huge market gap, you guys. So definitely something to consider is that coquette aesthetic, which really is taking Etsy by storm, especially in women's niches. And it can be so easily cross-niched with just about any niche out there. Also have not seen it on embroidered hats. Obviously, you would have to be careful with the type of design because there are some design requirements with embroidered designs. And then next, tie-dyed shirts and sweatshirts. So tie-dyed has been super trendy on Etsy for years now, especially with comfort color products. And I have not seen very many sellers, whether they sell embroidery or DTG printing, really incorporating these types of aesthetics, like the monochromatic and minimalism. And here are some other Untapped product and niche ideas for you. So moving on to other Untapped products and niches. There really are a lot of the mom micro niches, like baseball mom, soccer mom, cheer mom, dance mom. I really do think that there is a market gap in a lot of the mom micro niches with the minimalist monochromatic design aesthetic. Even with print on demand, you can do pocket prints that feature those types of designs, which actually look really good on those folded mock-ups. And pocket prints and pocket embroidery, or just that corner embroidery on the apparel, is really popular on Etsy. And we'll explore some more of those niches when we do some of that research on Etsy. All right, so next up, as you guys can see in these photos here, I think that there's definitely a market gap in the cottagecore / floral niche that is really popular on Etsy with the monochromatic aesthetic. So this first one here, this is actually a Bible verse that's sort of cross-niched with the floral aesthetic. In this case, it's sort of like that block print, sort of like Scandinavian style. And it's cross-niched with the Christian niche, in this case, a Bible verse. I think that these types of designs would look really great on darker colors too, especially with a grunge texture applied. And continuing with that floral niche, even the subtle elements like pink on pink, I think that purple on purple would look really great too. I would try and niche this down to a specific type of audience, so like for moms, grandmas, etc., or even the Christianity niche. And I talked about this trending aesthetic in my last two videos as well that I mentioned earlier. Dark florals, and Etsy even mentioned those keywords specifically in their Mother's Day trend insights. Those keywords are trending and they're noticing an uptick in those specific search terms. However, not very many people are bringing in that monochromatic aesthetic to the dark florals. So like this right here, those sort of dark leaves on the dark shirt, I think that this is really untapped on Etsy. And this is really trending this year on Etsy. We're going to continue to see this trending in all types of niches, but definitely the mom's niche is floral pattern letters, especially with embroidery. But I've also seen it be really popular with DTG printing. All right, so now we're going to head over to Etsy, where we're going to do a little bit of market gap research. We're going to take a look at some of those products that I think are going to do really, really well for Mother's Day in the POD product catalog. We're going to take a look at some really popular print-on-demand catalogs from Printify and Printful, specifically their embroidered products, which really lend itself well to this 100K listing niche, which is the minimalist monochromatic personalized niche slash aesthetic. So over on Etsy, I have typed into the search query mom gift, which are really high competition keywords. And like I mentioned earlier, those floral letters, which by the way can be done with AI, as long as you're using the right tool. So let me know below if that's something you guys would be interested in learning more about. Of course, mom gift baskets. We talked about those keywords in my last video. Also, another thing that's really trendy right now in the mom niche is the club niche, okay? So cool moms club, feral moms club, makeup cussing moms club, coffee moms club, etc. And this one is, of course, the retro wavy with the front and back print. But I think that the club niche could do really well in pretty much any type of product and with lots of different types of aesthetics. In fact, let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let's put Mom Club. See what happens. Mom Club, shirt, necklace, hat, tee, dropout shirt. Okay, let's just do a shirt. I guess I should have just done Mom Club. Overstimulated Moms Club. Tired Moms Club is a good one. Feral Moms Social Club. Overstimulated again. And so really, there are so many new phrases I bet you guys could introduce. I didn't see Coffee Moms Club. I'm in that club. Cool Moms Club. And think of all the design aesthetics that we're not seeing with this niche, right? I don't see any monochromatic. I'm not seeing any toile. I'm not really seeing any toile or chinoiserie. And I definitely haven't seen the minimalist monochromatic. So definitely a market gap, guys. Once again, those patterned letters are super popular. All right, so let's go back to mom gift. All right, some hot keyword ideas for you guys. Remember that Etsy search bar really is just a great resource for ideas for keywords and products. Custom wood products. All right, let's do mom gift. Mom gift shirt, mom gift card. Going back to mom gifts here. Minimalist serif fonts combined with dark florals. And I don't think I mentioned this in my last video, but leopard print really is making a big comeback on Etsy as well. And I like how the seller here really incorporated a lot of different design aesthetics. So university fonts are really popular with the curved style, the pattern text, in this case a leopard print, which is really trendy, and it sort of has that monochromatic feel to it. So it has like the brown on the brown espresso shirt. Once again, keeping in mind that sleeve prints and sleeve embroidery and neck prints are going to do really well this Mother's Day, as well as on tie-dyed apparel. And with embroidery and sort of minimalist trend, a lot of those floral text cutouts. So that's really popular on Etsy right now as well. So now let's move on to the Printify and the Printful's embroidery catalogs. So the top products for Mother's Day I think that are going to do really well with embroidery includes the Comfort Color sweatshirt, the vintage cap, and I think that a dark gray design would look really, really cool. So that monochromatic type of aesthetic, which, like I said earlier, not really noticing that on Etsy or Amazon. For Father's Day, definitely keep in mind the dad cap. That could even do well with Mother's Day depending on the color. The vintage corduroy cap, the distressed hat, and the denim hat, because the denim blue color is just so popular this year, with emphasis on those monochromatic styles. And as far as kid products, they do offer youth crew neck sweatshirts, which I think would be really great for a mommy and me, or a mama and Minnie. And then moving on to Printful's embroidered catalog, they do have a few other additional products that Printify doesn't, including tote bags. I think that there's definitely a market for embroidered tote bags with the mom niche. They do have more kids options, so once again, a great opportunity for the mommy and me or the mama and Minnie niche. And in my last video, I mentioned that mommy and me was trademarked. And one of my amazing subscribers commented and said that they did a little bit of research, and it looks like that trademark was actually abandoned. So you'll want to do your due diligence and double check on USPTO.gov. But that trademark, specifically the mommy and me one, did appear to be abandoned. Definitely this denim cap, I think, has a lot of potential. It even has pink, which is really cool, as well as this lighter denim cap. There are other tote bag options, more kid sweatshirts, of course tie-dyed, we talked about that earlier, babies. They even have the option to embroider baby bodysuits, as well as blankets. And blankets are going to be really hot this year on Etsy for Mother's Day. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It really is a pleasure. If you made it all the way to the end of this episode, comment success leaves clues below. And just a reminder that the Wednesday Grind is now available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And I will see you guys next week at 1 o'clock p.m. Have an amazing rest of your week, guys. Let's work hard and